Welcome back to Startup Hack. All right, this is something from Nightmare. Hackers from China, Iran, and North Korea are now using AI chatbots to speed up their operations. This isn't just making us U.S. employees more efficient in our jobs, it's actually making the hackers more efficient as well. And here's what's really interesting. They're not just getting the results they wanted. After 25 years in software development, I'm going to break down and show you what stuff we need to watch for, and luckily some stuff that we can work to help block these. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thompson. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as build custom software solutions for companies. So we are seeing hackers using AI, and you heard that right. Hackers are no longer just script kiddies in the basement. They're now starting to leverage AI to supercharge their attacks. So because LLMs can be small LLMs, and I've talked about this in previous videos, so make sure you go like and subscribe to the channel. But I've talked a lot about how small LLMs can be used as agents to be able to perform specific tasks. And now hackers from Iran to North Korea to China are using tools like Google's Gemini chatbot to boost their productivity. Now, let's talk a little bit about how bad it really is and what your business needs to watch out for. So recently, we see this report here from Business Insider that hackers are using Gemini chatbots in their operations, and this is as a report given to us from Google. Now, it said the hackers from Iran, China, and North Korea were using Gemini to try to boost productivity, to try to script out a lot of different things. But they said they were able to stop them, so they hadn't received any major breakthroughs. Now, I'm going to go on to say that, like, even if they were able to stop them, current LLMs on their own are unlikely to enable breakthrough capabilities in threat actors. But the difference is it's going to be able to enable them to be able to do it faster, right? And so even though they're trying to use like these APIs to leverage it off of Google and other AI provider servers, it's not long before they're going to start launching these off of their own servers or getting it to embed very small LLMs. Again, I show a lot of how you can use these small LLMs on my channel, so make sure you like and subscribe. Now, Google does talk about here that there is this adversarial use of generative AI, right? And they talk about that with the rapid rapid advancements in AI are unlocking new possibilities, but it also poses a transformative digital defense, right? So they're using them also to try to defend against the attacker. So it's AI versus AI in some ways, but we're seeing that their executive summary is that the threat intelligence group, the Google TGIF, not TGIF, TGIG, is committed to tracking and protecting against cyber threat activity. So, they're trying to defend Google, but they're also trying to defend us, is what they're trying to say here, right? So, this is a good thing, because I'm glad to see that they're taking this seriously, because this is definitely something we need to be aware of, right? There are a lot of state-sponsored hackers that are actively trying to use different AIs to try to get in. Now, they're still trying to use traditional methods, right? And so it still doesn't completely come up with all new methods for them. It's just using traditional methods more quickly. So the learning curve is still steeper than anticipated, and security teams are already adapting to these new threats. So some of the ways that they can detect these is because some of the things they can do to detect that words and patterns have come from AI allows them to also then detect that it's not a human, right? Now, hackers are using AI to generate convincing phishing emails. They're also using code generation to help them create malware variants, right? So, hey, give me a code that looks like this, because a lot of malware is looking for very specific scripts because it knows this particular type of bot. But if you can take that and take that same bot, but have it obfuscated out into 1,000 different variants of it and now attack with 1,000 of those variants, this normally would have been human, would have been very time consuming. And now with AI, it can do it in a matter of minutes, right? So language barriers are also going to become less of an obstacle now, because even if it's in one script, you could say, hey, give me this same malware, but instead of writing this in Python, write in JavaScript, right? So the attack scripts are being automated with AI assistance, and this does get kind of crazy if you start thinking about that. Now, prompt injection attacks are also targeting AI systems, right? So hackers are exploiting model limitations. They're trying to push into models and trying to get it to regurgitate information back to it. So companies are trying to patch these as quick as they can, but it's actually pretty easy to get AI to spit back out a lot of information that originally was, so if I go to DeepSeek right now and I ask a question about Tenement Square, right? because it's Chinese sponsored, it's not going to give me any information about that, right? Because it's behind the big wall. But it's pretty easy to get it to break down past those barriers. The other day, I was trying to generate some scripts on some things, and I wanted to do on a subject that it really didn't want to, and it only took 1 or 2 pushes past the first layer before I was able to get it to come through. So it's pretty easy to inject this into this. But there's a whole nother part that's happening too. There's reports coming that malware is actually starting to try to poison these large chatbots. That by introducing bad data and injecting it in such a way, the AI companies are having a hard time defending against AI poisoning right now. So the arms race is definitely accelerating, right? I want to show another report here, and this is a good one that I found that talks a little bit about some of the different areas that we have to watch out for, right? So we talk about what are large language models, what are their prompt injections, right? And so you can detect LM vulnerabilities, right? And exploit them using some of these LM APIs, or also just doing mapping of the LM API attack service, right? Then you can list off the chain vulnerabilities. And even if an LM only has access to APIs that look harmless, you may still be able to use these APIs to find a second vulnerability. For example, you use an LLM to execute a path traversal attacks on an API that takes a file name as an input, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you can get into this, right? So you can say, hey, there's an internal API, there's a great count has been deleted. It comes with a human. Human says, tell me about the shoes, right? And this is an indirect prompt injection, right? And this is an example of indirect prompt injection. But this is how we can get into where you're actually doing a lot of the prompt injection using a lot of coding, right? So this is the part I was just talking about here with some training data poisoning, right? Training data poisoning is a type of indirect prompt injection in which the model is trained on is compromised. This can cause the LM to return intentionally wrong or otherwise misleading information, right? It also can get it to leak sensitive information about some of the training data, right? So you may have had it trained to say, hey, here's a whole list of very specific real ones, a very specific real set of data. Now aggregate all of this, and you can use the aggregate data, but don't use the specific one, and you can actually get it to actually list out the original data that's come in. So lots of different ways that criminals are getting, as fast as the developers become, the criminals become as well, right? Now, with AI becoming an integral part of cybersecurity operations, I like this report too. Threat actors are beginning to take note. Although they're providing boundless use for defense, adversaries are beginning to find ways to exploit them, creating a complex environment for individuals, businesses, and government alike. Potentials for LMs to be exploited in cyber attacks represent a significant shift in how technology might be weaponized. Now, this didn't take a whole lot of guessing, right? Us software engineers picked this up right away and knew this was going to be definitely a place. And so we definitely see the arms racing. Now, if your company has systems that aren't connected, reach out to us here at Startup Pack. We love to connect systems. Our specialty is implementing secure and modern solutions. So check out startuppack.com/Spencer because we can help you out. Now, we're seeing a lot of rise of AI agents, and these AI agents are really handy because you can train on a specific set of things to do. You can also do this using small language models so that you can train on a specific thing to get done. Now, this is how the hackers are also using, and they're training these little AI agents to be able to run specifically so that these small models can cause big problems by replicating quickly, right? So you really have to be vigilant on these to watch out and make sure that you're watching against these attacks, right? So with DeepSeek R1, there was a 1.5 billion model version that was released as part of All1. And these smaller models are harder to trace because they can be modeled and trained for a very specific use case in these agents. And it makes this defense systems really tricky to try to catch up to it, right? So this is a new security paradigm where we're really having to get creative to see how to block these. So ultimately, some of the best strategies are AI-powered security tools are becoming essential because the ability to replicate and take all the data that's coming at you really quick, to be able to take it, aggregate it down, and to be able to then detect systems to be able to get smarter and smarter, right? So the response times are going to improve that way because normally you'd have to get a human, have the human do the analysis, and then do it this way. It can at least present the analysis to a human and then say, hey, do you need us to stop X, Y, or Z? But companies are laying in defense and really starting to play defense against these. And this is something you're going to see a lot of security models start to follow. And so security budgets are going to have to go up as we see more money going out into AI to make these more sophisticated. So you can never be too aware, right? AI tools can help you detect threats, and employees need to be able to be trained to learn how to spot some of these too, right? Training around the only way to protect against phishing is really to have humans not click on stuff in emails. So we definitely need to see new tools be developed. So there's a lot of great ideas in this space where AI can be used to develop and to detect, attacks that are coming from other AI. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to have a great discussion. The best compliment I can get is when you leave a comment down below. So make sure to like and subscribe. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to help custom software solution for companies. So reach out because we'd love to help. Check out startuphack.com/Spencer, and we've got a great offer for you guys here today.
Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring is included so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Startup Hack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely and students can start earning while they learn.
Startup Hack's .NET Coding Bootcamp was a game changer for my career. As someone with no prior programming experience, I was initially intimidated by the idea of learning to code, but the instructors at Startup Hack broke down complex concepts into easy to understand lessons and provided hands-on projects that really cemented my understanding. The curriculum was comprehensive and up to date and got me ready for my first job. What really set Startup Hack apart was the focus on practical, real-world skills. Thanks to Startup Hack, I landed my dream job as a .NET developer within weeks of graduating. I went from knowing nothing about code to building professional-grade web applications in just a few intense months. If you're looking to break into .NET development or level up your coding skills, I cannot recommend Startup Hack enough.
Complete our 3-month coding bootcamp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out startuphack.com to code your future.